So another guy comes here from New York. There's a migration. Why did you come here?
I moved here recently. I finished up my master's degree at University of Nevada, Reno, and I was splitting time between Reno and New York, doing most of my playing and recording there. And my wife and I were looking for a place to settle down for a little bit. She's from the Northwest. She's from Yakima, Washington. And our compromise, I needed to live in a city where there's a jazz scene, and there wasn't much of a jazz scene, and probably won't ever be much of a jazz scene in Yakima, Washington. It's a little small. So this is close to her family, and from what I had heard about the scene, it was welcoming and warm, and I'm excited to be here. Like, it's a great city.
So who did you know in the scene here?
I didn't know that many people, especially very well. I had played a little bit with Justin Morel a couple years ago, and I've done a lot of playing with the Ferber brothers over the years, and they know Justin from the LA scene, and so Justin was kind of a point of contact. I had met George Colligan, I think, a long time ago, and was excited that, I want to get into teaching at a collegiate level, so it was great that Daryl Grant and George Colligan are here, and other guys that I could reach out to. One of my mentors and teachers at UNR, Peter Epstein, he grew up here. He hasn't been here for a long time, but so he kind of had some contacts for me to track down. So I got in touch with Nancy King and talked to her. I'm still trying to plant some roots here and reach out and meet people, but it's going pretty well, and I'm definitely digging the scene.
Good. So you have a new series coming up at the T-Zone.
I do. It's not the T-Zone. It's at.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, it's at Vintner's Cellars, which is a new place. A family friend owns it. It's a wine bar. You can also make wine there. They make all the wine that they sell in-house there. It's a really great place. They have great food. I can't say enough about how cool it is. And they are looking to just get more people in the door, and I was looking to reach out and meet people. And I noticed that Portland has a lot of great jam sessions. I'm pleasantly surprised with all the jazz jam sessions they have here. But no one was really playing any original music, and I knew that people did play original music around town. So back in Brooklyn, I had a few, I think 3 separate jazz composer type jam sessions, and I knew that they worked and people liked them. So I wanted to implement that here. One as a way of meeting people, and also to get people out and play their original music. And so that's going to be every Wednesday.
How does that work? I mean, anybody can walk in and play Oleo. But not everybody can walk in and play somebody else's original music.
Right. Yeah, and because of that, the nature of the jam session is much more relaxed. So we know that you're not, like, I bring in tunes, and I tend to write a little bit more difficult music than some would like to sight read. So I'm cool with people not reading every single note correctly. I just want to hear it in a context other than just in my room at home, or my little composition studio. So we invite people to bring their own tunes up, or if they want to play other people's tunes, we're going to sight read them. There might be we would like it to be as performance-oriented as possible, so like stopping in the middle of a tune is not really advised, but we'll do it. If it's becoming a train real quick, like, okay, let's start that all over. It's happened. We've had 2 of these so far, and that's only happened maybe twice in the 2 nights. But it's relaxed. It's more.
That's actually kind of fun for the audience when that happens.
I think so. I mean. I feel like it's a sneak peek into like a different part of the world. Maybe some people find it annoying, and I could understand that as well. But I would say that it's more of like a workshop kind of vibe. But I want it to have a little bit of performance element too. So I want people to take full solos and get into it and play with each other. And I don't want their nose just buried into the stand all the time. I mean, that's great too. I want it to be like a form of practice and a form of performance.
So who has come in? Who have you had?
Well, we generally start off with a house band, and then open it up to sessioners.
Who's in the house band?
And the house band hopefully will be revolving. This is another way of ploy for me to meet some new people and play with some new people in town. George Colligan played drums on the first one. Clay Giberson has shown some enthusiasm to be an active part of it, so he might play a lot of left-hand bass and keys in the coming sessions. Tim Wilcox has played. Dave Valdez has played. We recently had Jason Palmer and I don't know how to say her last name, but Andrea Nemiak. Is that close? And yeah, so people have been coming out in droves. Chris Higgins, Sam Folger.
Who also just got into town.
Yes, another New York transplant.
What is it? Why? I mean, it's so strange. I mean, there's been such an influx of people from New York. I mean, first of all, I think, okay, maybe they're following Colligan, but you didn't follow Colligan.
No,
Yeah.
No. I would say that there are probably many factors. I mean, I love New York. I miss it. I hope to go back someday. Not right now. It's not the right time right now. But the scene is it's warm, and the city's great, and it's more affordable than New York. That's for sure. It's more affordable than San Francisco and Los Angeles and even Seattle. So, maybe the cost of living in Portland is great.
Okay, sure. On your album Tone, now is that modern jazz for indie rockers?
That would be one of the books of music that I write that is definitely in the vein of modern jazz for the indie rocker.
What does that mean?
Well, I started that modern jazz for the indie rocker. I wanted to come up with a slogan that accurately depicted my view towards modern jazz, or just not modern jazz in general, but my own personal view of modern jazz for myself. And that my first record, Atrophy, on Fresh Sound, that was the first one into that. And the name Atrophy for the record came, I felt like I was withering away from disuse by trying to do what everyone else was doing. And it always seems to come off like I'm being condescending when I'm talking about, but I just got kind of tired of playing straight eighth tunes in odd meters and like really difficult melodies. And it's not that I don't like that stuff. I do. I just got really tired of it, and I didn't hear myself going that way with my own music. So I went back to my records that I loved, where all the magic was when I was 14 years old, and music was magic, and it was like Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana and Soundgarden, like all these bands from the Pacific Northwest. And like I found some of the energy there, and also the Shins were influencing me when I was writing this. Now the Shins are like huge, but they weren't so huge at the time. The Decemberists and other bands from this area again, and the indie rock scene was influencing just like the energy I wanted to go after. But I still wanted jazz. Like I didn't want to quit improvising. I didn't want to quit the complex harmonies or the metric stuff that I was doing. Jim Black's Alas No Axis was definitely a big influence on my concept. So the modern jazz for the indie rocker, I want to maintain the stuff that I like about modern jazz, which is the complexity, but the complexity and in the harmony and the melodies and the rhythm, and encourage both group and solo improvisation. And highlight it, but I also wanted the energy and the structure and the accessibility of indie rock. So to me, that's what it meant.
So if we were to pick a tune off of that album to illustrate that, what would it be?
Off the new one, Tone?
Yeah.
There are a number of them. I would say the first track, Run and Gun, is definitely got like an indie rock sort of vibe to it. People have told me that it kind of reminds them of Radiohead.
Well, why don't we let people listen to that just below this screen? How
Okay.
about that?
Can I make a mention of like a little note about the tune?
Yeah.
First? I originally wrote the tune in dedication to Ralph Alessi, the great trumpet player. He and I and a bunch of other of us in Brooklyn are huge Golden State Warrior fans, and the Warriors are known for their run and gun style, Nelly Ball. So this was my dedication to Ralph Alessi.
All right.